right, here we go. Suns, Deandre Ayton. I know we made fun of Deandre Ayton, right? It was funny during the playoffs, laughing at him. DeAndre Ayton sucks, right? He slept on now. Like, Deandre Ayton is most you could definitely tell whenever I did this portion of the Google Doc, I was definitely on. Look at all of the highlights here. There's no way I watch all of these. I think I was actually planning on making a Deandre Ayton video. But yeah, Deandre Ayton, now that it sounds like Zach LaVine is going to stay in Chicago, which it does sound like that now, Deandre Ayton might be the prize of the offseason. He just might be one of the best pick and roll players in the league. And I'm going to show you some highlights here, right? Games without Chris Paul, because that's the big knock on Deandre Ayton. A lot of people say, oh, Chris Paul literally creates his entire offense. And yeah, I mean, Deandre Ayton is definitely dependent on his point guards. But DeAndre Ayton is definitely dependent on his point guards. But that's not necessarily a crazy thing for a center. You know what I mean? He's still one of the best pick and roll threats in the NBA, 98th percentile as a pick and roll man. I'm sorry, 98th percentile roll man possessions a game. So, you know, they spam pick and rolls with DeAndre Ayton, obviously. And he's in the 95th percentile on roll impact and 98th percentile on screen assists. So he's a great screener, good pick and roll guy. 1.23 points per possession as pick and roll man, which is the 97th percentile. Ooh, nice little hook shot right there. And this game was without Chris Paul, right? And he has a lot better touch than given credit for. He is much better a one-on-one game than given credit for. He's just a really good offensive player, like he just is. 96th percentile on post impact. He's got a lot of moves. Look at this little hook shot right there, little jump hook, nice. 1 point per possession on post-ups, which is a really great number. Post-ups are not very efficient plays. So averaging 1 point a possession on post-ups is crazy. That's in the 98th percentile. And there's some shooting potential. 36% from three this year on 0.3 attempts per game. I know it's not a lot, but he averaged half an attempt a game from the All-Star break onward. So if the Mavs, let's say a crazy scenario happens and the Mavs get DeAndre Ayton, right? I would have him shoot at least 1 3 a game. Like, that would be, we would sit him down and we would sit down with him right when he signed the contract. He says, hey, you're going to shoot at least 1 3 a game this season. Like, you're going to shoot him. I don't care if you shoot 25%. You're going to shoot those. You're going to shoot those. He's a great defender. Good defender on screens. Opponent shot 6.5 percentage points worse at the rim. We know that he's a versatile defender. We know he's a great rebounder. 96th percentile defensive rebounder. 87th percentile on putbacks. Look at that little touch, little mid-range jumper right there. Again, this is all without Chris Paul. This is all without Chris Paul. I thought I had some stats on here of what he did without Chris Paul, but I guess not. I looked it up because Chris Paul obviously missed a decent amount of time for the Suns. His scoring numbers actually went up. His scoring numbers actually went up, and I think his efficiency actually went up too, which is interesting to note. Like, let's just look at some of the. I have, doing this research, I have really grown to like DeAndre Ayton a lot. And whoever gets him, like, if the Suns really let him go, which I think would be so fucking dumb, unless there is just some crazy shit that we don't know about. Here he is shooting a 3, by the way. Unless there's just some wild locker room shit going on that we are unaware of, letting DeAndre Ayton walk makes no sense to me whatsoever. I'm guessing the Suns figure, hey, we could get a somewhat similar player in a sign and trade and maybe like a future asset too. So let's go ahead and just do that. But even then, I feel like this would be a real short-sighted move. Again, we don't know. Maybe there's just some crazy shit that we don't know about going on in the locker room. But I would love me some DeAndre Ayton. Like, if the Detroit Pistons go and get DeAndre Ayton, that's a huge win. Huge win for them. Fantastic win for them this offseason. Or any of the other younger teams. Even if I'm a team like Oklahoma City, and even if I'm thinking I'm going to draft Chet, I would still try and get DeAndre Ayton. I would try to pair those two. I feel like it could work. The Suns think that they can get 85% of the production for a fifth of the price. I think they're wrong, honestly. I don't know, though. See, like, JaVale McGee and Biyombo were great there, too, but Ayton's offensive game is way more advanced. And you got to think about a world without Chris Paul, too. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to have JaVale McGee and Devin Booker? Oh, good pass by Campaign right there. Again, this is a game that we're watching highlights from without Chris Paul, which is a big knock on DeAndre Ayton's game, that he's dependent on his point guards too much. Well, here you go. Here's some defense. Some defensive highlights. some defensive highlights. For example, Hartenstein has 14 made threes this season. Ayton has 14 made threes in his career. Okay, that was not a good impression right there. I missed Hartenstein talk. Oh, there wasn't really any Hartenstein talk. It was mainly just me saying go watch the video that I posted. What's one thing Ayton does better than Hartenstein statistically? I think Ayton is a more reliable defender, more versatile defender. I would probably trust Ayton's touch a little bit more. You have to remember that, yeah, Hartenstein's numbers are crazy, but he's coming off the bench. He's playing against bench players. A lot of these times where he's getting big-time extended minutes, it's in blowouts or against terrible teams. And I did mention that, there's the Millsap doctrine that statistically, when those players get extended minutes, they actually end up improving their stats. But Ayton has been on the best team in the league the last 2 seasons and has been a huge contributor for them. Oh, look at that. Good defense. Good defense right here. Ayton has proven he can deal with the physicality of the NBA. That's a big thing. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if Isaiah Hartenstein was putting up the numbers he's putting up, like, in 30 minutes a game, yes, Isaiah Hartenstein would be making a fuck ton of money this offseason. Like, make no mistake about it. Hartenstein is a better passer than Ayton, for sure. Oh, look at that. Okay. Oh, he forced the miss. Steph missed the bunny, but that was a good job staying in front of him. Good job staying in front of him. Let's look at some blocks. I'm a big-time Ayton believer. I am. I made fun of him. And I did say, and let me just say this. I have said that I really do understand the Suns' logic of letting him test the market a little bit. What the fuck was this? Was this a block? But I understand the Suns letting him test the market, seeing, hey, if a team wants to max you, we will match it. But we just don't know if you're going to get a max. I understand that. I think that's a pretty smart choice on their end. But letting him walk is nuts to me. Letting him walk is crazy to me. I don't understand that. I don't think you're going to get the value you think you're going to get. But if it's, I saw this mock trade, and I think it's kind of interesting, actually. Good defense. The Pistons send Jeremy Grant to the Suns in a sign and trade for Ayton. I don't even know if that's possible, CBA-wise. All that shit's so confusing to me. But that would be interesting. That would be somewhat interesting. Of course, the Suns would have to get a center. Like, could JaVale McGee be your starting center? I don't know. Or Bismack Biyombo? I don't know. Are you, like, really high on Ish Wainwright? I don't know. Get that shit out! Come on, Plum Dog Millionaire. Mason Plumlee is not on this list. I'm not a big Mason Plumlee guy at all. Okay. Oh, get that shit out! Oh, stare at him. Oh, Ayton's disgusting. Yeah, Ayton's disgusting. Delusion. They don't call me King Delusion for nothing. That's true. They don't. So there you go. It ain't happening. But for whatever team ends up getting Deandre Ayton, you're getting a great player. You're getting a hell of a player and a hell of a steal. And if the Suns do let him go, it doesn't make a lot of sense for me. If this were like, if Ayton were on, I don't know, let's just say like the Wizards, right? And they're like a middling team, and Ayton wants a max, and he wants to be the number 1 player, and the Wizards are like, ugh. I don't know if we want to do that. We'll sign and trade you. That would make some sense to me. But for the Suns, you're like trying to contend and win right now. Your point guard is 48 years old and aging in dog years. I don't get the logic here of wanting to let a guy like Ayton go. Unless you are 100% convinced you can get equal value in return, or like somebody said earlier, a fraction of the value, or like 80% of the value of Ayton for only a fraction of the cost. I just don't think it'd be a smart choice for a team that's trying to win a championship. Unless there's just some crazy shit going on behind the scenes that we're not entirely sure about. I don't know. I would stare down the ball kids too. I mean, if I got a block that disgusting, I'm staring down the dude I just blocked. No doubt about it, for sure. So Ayton to the Mavs is just a pipe dream. Yeah, for sure. Ayton is a better defender. Hartenstein doubles Ayton's steal percentage and block numbers while leading the NBA in rim protection and leading all 7-footers in on-ball defense. Ayton's a great defender. Yes, I listen, you're talking to one of the biggest Isaiah Hartenstein propaganda spreaders. So yes, I understand Isaiah Hartenstein's defensive numbers are insane, but as I mentioned earlier, Ayton plays 30+ minutes a night. Ayton's played in the playoffs. Ayton is a starter and a huge key piece to the best team in the league, record-wise over the last 2 seasons. There's value to that. If Hartenstein was doing the things that he's doing on extended minutes, like, yes, he would be getting a lot of money. Yeah, Ayton's going to make a lot of money. For sure. But Isaiah Hartenstein has started 0 games. I think 4 games total his whole career or something like that. You know I'm a huge Isaiah Hartenstein believer. What were some of these headshot plots? Post frequency and post impact. There you go. That's good company to have right there. You got Embiid. Oh my God, look at Jokic. Good God. Embiid too. Jesus, these two are just insane. And then you have Ayton. Like relatively to these two, yeah, Ayton's kind of down here, but to everyone else, Ayton's in a great spot. I know my eyes are playing tricks on me. Is that who I think that is? Was this one right here? Roll impact and roll man possession. Oh, yeah, we already looked at it. Great pick and roll player. I mean, if you're right next to Joel Embiid on a plot chart, that's pretty good news for you. And was there another one? I thought there was another one. I guess not. But again, Ayton is, yeah, Ayton's going to be, I mean, he's the best free agent if Zach LaVine is re-signing, right?